Imagine, a person said to me, was complaining the other day, a person said, been married for 15 years, a woman in her mid-40s, and things aren't going well. And she said to me, isn't marriage supposed to be where your spouse is your best friend and they love you more than everything and they're the one that understands you? And I said, what fairy tale have you been reading? Okay. Marriage is what humanizes you. Marriage starts with a relatively raw person. And if you really want to do this right, there's so much transcending of self that has to go on for most of us to live in true intimacy with another person. So people say, the world should be hard, close relationships should be easy. It's exactly the opposite. Close relationships for most people are difficult. And I'll give you my simple reason why. People say why. The simple reason is the following. I don't think we're built for the nuclear family and the solitary dyad, meaning couples living in houses alone with one generation of parents and children. I think we're evolutionary built for a hamlet or for a tribe. We're surrounded by cousins and families and aunts and uncles and parents and great-grandparents and great-grandparents, where there's a lot of social regulation and a lot of ability to find deep companionship among many, many people. So the image is, in the morning, the men go one way, the women go the other way. They have deep bonds. They come back. They're around the campfire. So people, in a sense, are constantly nurtured, nourished, and regulated by the entire tribe, as it were. So we're not built to suddenly break off two people in one place with no guidance from the elders and no support system from the siblings and the cousins that are supposed to help us out with the kids and help us get sleep and so forth. So what we're doing in the modern urban setting is unnatural for us. When people say, why is it hard? Because it's not supposed to be like this. I wouldn't want any other way. I don't want someone forcing me to live on a commune or go back to a tribe. I prefer to live independently and relatively free. And, my wife and I and our family get to do relatively what we want. I don't want to turn the clock back. But I also have to know it's inherently difficult what we're trying to do. And therefore, we have to create within ourselves that larger network internally. We have to create a huge network of nourishing and wisdom internally when it used to come from the outside. So that's when people say, why is it so hard? I think that's why it's hard. It's not that it can't be done, because I know when we do it, and I know many other people who do it, but it's a challenge, it's difficult. So in that third ring out, if the first one is the realm of your soul, the second ring is the realm of virtue, and the third ring is the life of intimacy with others, the life of intimacy with others actually takes the greatest discipline, the greatest skill, the greatest mindfulness, the greatest care. And that's what I'll call that natural. Now, when things are going beautifully and everything's great, that's wonderful. I realize that a lot of my life as a rabbi is like an emergency room doctor. I mean, people only call me when they need help. They don't call me to just come and say, just want to tell you, everything's great, everything's wonderful, this is how we're doing. I don't get many of those calls. But so the calls I get are people that are having struggles. But I don't think it's that skewed, because everybody struggles at least a couple times a year, and when they struggle a couple times a year, they wish they could get through it more efficiently. So therefore, so much of my work goes into what I'll call that third circle, because from my experience, that's where the most suffering occurs. Truly, from all my experience, most suffering occurs from people that we love, who love us, and we're not sure how to love each other well when there's stress. Most of my work goes into that third circle. So that's why I don't leave it alone. I think on my Wednesday class, I shared with a guy who came Rosh Hashanah this last year in 2015. He came in from Australia. Did I mention this to you? I came in from Australia, and after the service, he came to me and said, I flew from Australia last time to see family. I came to your high holidays. He said, you gave the same sermons last year, because he only hears me twice a year. And so I said, let me ask you a question. I said, did you criticize anybody? Did you complain? Did you condemn? Have any anger issues? He says, well, of course I did. I said, then I'm going to talk about the same thing this year, right? I said, I'm not going to stop until everybody's good, okay? So when people say, why do you give that sermon again? I say, because you're still criticizing each other. Why would I stop? Okay, so I want to tell you, I've decided I'm going to spend the rest of my time helping us suffer less, helping us do our duty as virtuous people, helping us find bliss, and some theological understanding that everything matters, everything's connected. Our souls are not alone in this realm.
Sing, sing, shalom, sing, shalom, sing, shalom.